Just because he ain't had no money, you left him?
Had to.
That ain't right. I don't like that.
If I'm making more money than him, I don't...
You should help him get some more money.
How am I going to do that, though? If I have my own career, I'm doing what I'm doing.
A woman's supposed to be a helpmate.
I feel like a man is supposed to be that for a girl.
A man's supposed to be a leader.
You right.
You're supposed to help him be a better leader.
So I was in the wrong. Now I'm the bad guy. I'm always the bad guy.
You looking for a daddy.
I ain't looking for a daddy. I got my own money. I got my own money. I could do what I do. And that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't need a guy for money.
But you want one.
I want a man to be stable. If I was to leave him, I want him to be...
So he wasn't stable?
He was okay, but I was making more than him.
So he was stable though?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
So why are you leaving then? You said you just want...
Because he wasn't doing better than me. I need a guy doing better than me. And if he's not doing better than me, then...
That seemed like a skit, but it is talking to something I hear very often.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hypergamy at its finest. Women tend to want men who are doing better than them, who in so many different categories are better than them. They tend to want men who are as smart or smarter, make as much money or more, who is stronger, who is bigger, who is faster, who is dominant over them in so many different categories. I mean, that's hypergamy. That's natural biology. And to be honest, most men want women that are a little bit less in some of these categories. We don't care as much about the money making thing because making money is a category that is glorified in Western culture. But if ish was to hit the fan and something was to really happen out here in the world, bro, how much money you make wouldn't matter at all.
Surely wouldn't.
Which may very well happen, especially the way everybody in America is going soft. It's only a matter of time before some nation is going to test us for real. And all of the money, the job you have, that nice cushy job ain't going to mean nothing when that happens. So we're going to revert back to our original roles anyway. And women are going to desire men to take up their cross and to do what they got to do to protect their homes. So we're going to revert back to the same thing. And it's hypergamy. It's biology. It's a survival mechanism. We are so far outside of having to worry about survival that we're just worried about excess. Men have made the world so safe for Western society that we're just completely out of order when it comes to a lot of that stuff. So...
And I was going to say, you were saying it's hypergamy at its best as far as like, and that's one thing I do want to make a comment about. I think that when we're talking about like men and women, like, you know, getting on each other, whatever, that's not anything to be ashamed of.
Oh, it's the way it's supposed to be.
It's the way it's supposed to be. No, and I want to make sure I say that. Sure. Like, there is nothing wrong as women. Like, there is nothing wrong with you wanting to have a man that makes more than you, that you want to protect you and things of that nature. There's nothing wrong with that because that's biology. That's natural. Like, we're designed that way, and that's okay.
But
we have to be realistic about our expectations. That's the only thing. Like,
price yourself out of the market.
Yeah, you can't be like, oh, okay, well, I'm making, let's say I'm making like 60, 70 grand or something like that a year, and you're like, oh, well, my man, he needs to be making that or better. You know, depending on a lot of different factors, that may or may not be the case. Statistically speaking, there are a lot more women in college than men. Way more women in college than men. So depending on your age, you may or may not find that, you know, depending on the age bracket you're looking at, you may or may not find a guy that is going to be making the same amount that you're making or more. True. But like, what are we talking about? Like, he mentioned something as far as excess. Like, there's one thing for, you know, not wanting to be out on the street or living poor, even like not being able to make ends meet. But if you're making 60, 70K a year, and let's say your guy is only making 50 a year, you still making six figures, bro.
Yeah. True.
So like, what are we crying about?
That's true.
And if it's a situation where you're just like, okay, well, you do want to bring kids into the picture, do you plan on being a stay-at-home mom that you're not going to work? Like, if that's the case, then you won't have to scale back quite a bit, unless you don't price yourself out the market and you're a certain type of woman, and you're, you know, and you can attain guys who are making 6+ figures a year. So
some of the realities that I know these stats have been talked about a lot, but just to have it in front of people's face, approximately 15% of all Americans make over $100,000 a year. in our community, I think it's between 7 to 9% make over $100,000 a year. Many of those people are men, number one. And number two, they're taken. Many of them are already married. And the ones that are women, same things. A lot of them are already married. So you have to understand the situation that a lot of us are putting ourselves in. So there is a component where you just got to be realistic about it. It is natural. It is normal. We 100% understand it. But sis, if you making $200,000 a year, you going to be another one of them MDK Williams getting in vitro. It's very highly likely. And there's a way that I think that this whole situation was supposed to go, but because people wanted excess so badly, they wanted money and success so badly, that a lot of us are really just going to give up the family and the husband thing. There aren't going to be enough men to meet those standards. And a lot of women who are saying this don't make the money to be making the demands in the first place. A lot of women who are saying a lot of this stuff ain't making no money. They're looking for somebody to come save them. They're looking for a fantasy. And for a lot of women, that fantasy is never going to arrive. And we're going to pass by a guy that we could have had an amazing life with for somebody else. That's the problem. Like the feeling itself, like she said, there's nothing wrong with it. But then you got a group of women who are pricing themselves out of the market. There's just not a lot of men that are going to be able to fulfill that financially. They might be able to fulfill everything else. But are you in a position where you're going to be constantly castrating him because you want to constantly throw in his face that he doesn't make a certain amount of money? But if somebody break into your mansion, though, because a lot of mansions in California get broken into. If somebody broke into your mansion, would you expect him to go and get the gun and take care of that situation? Or are you going to go down there with your job and defend yourself? No, I'm talking when stuff really hit the fan, like we really got to be realistic about what's going to happen. Your job does not mean as much as we think it does. And all of us want to have some money. Now, I wouldn't mind making $200,000. Yeah, that'd be okay. But you also have to be willing to give up what it takes to have that level of success as well. Yeah. And a lot of people,
everything comes with a price.
A lot of people want it, but they don't want to do the work for it. So it's so many different things to this issue. And I think that we just got to be realistic. And a lot of us walk away from the person that we probably should have been with for the rest of our lives. And then we end up by ourselves with our jobs. And when you're 50, your perspective on that's going to change. That's why you have a lot of older women complaining about not being able to get a man. Well, you probably should have got him 20 years ago. Unfortunately, that's the reality. And now you have to try to find somebody that's still out there. Most people are trying to get married like at a certain age for the longest. And we're now getting into a point where for the first time, we're going to have a bunch of people that are going to be single and older. And it'll be very interesting to see how that's going to work out because it's new.
Well, if you guys have made it this far, go ahead and smash that subscribe button. Go ahead and turn on those post notifications and give us a thumbs up so that way YouTube knows that you appreciate what we putting down.
What we putting down.
All right.
All right, y'all. That was it. Hopefully y'all got something out of it. If y'all have any like inquiries, like stuff that y'all want us to react to, please send it to us.
Yeah.
It was j&oshow.info at gmail.com.
Yep. It's down in the description.
Yo, send us some stuff that y'all want us to react to. You know, something that y'all find interesting. That would be a great thing. That way we can sort of understand what it is that you guys want us to speak to.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, y'all. Peace.
Peace. Hey, everybody. Down in the description, there are 2 links.
One is to a GoFundMe, and the other one is to a video that explains what the GoFundMe is for. Long story short, we have a medical situation with our daughter that we have to pay for everything out of pocket, and we could really use you guys' help. If you have the time, we'd love for you to go check it out. If you have the money, the funds, we'd love for you guys to help. If not, maybe you could send a link to somebody else who can help. We thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Peace.
Press the off button.